Right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Doc Who Pod. I'm Josh. With me, as always, is my co-host JP
Hello there,
and co-host Bradley Fuller.
Evening,
So
Coco
today,
host.
co-host, today
Cocoa
we are
Pops.
looking at probably the largest anticipated two-parter in all
What?
of Doctor Who history. It's Stephen Moffat's first two-parter as showrunner. Uh, Weeping Angels are coming back. Yeah, I think this was quite.
I think you've
This is
massively hyped it out, though.
no. I think if you
Oh,
look back at it historically, this is like the one that Stephen Moffat's going to make his mark on. He's done a few mediocre stories as showrunner, but uh, the Gas Mask one that was a two-parter. Stephen Moffat. Um,
So you think people were more excited for this than they were for David Tennant's finale?
that as a standard story two-parter, not for now, right? Anyway, in a sentence,
shit. You go first this time. Actually, yeah, you go first this time. It gives me some time to think about it.
second half better than the first half.
You kind of took the words out of my mouth there. Uh,
Bradley, do you want to intervene?
Yeah, go on. I'll go for still overcomplicated, but still an okay episode.
Okay. JP?
oh, okay. Yeah. I understood it better the second time I watched it. Take notes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Um, right. Before we delve into that, then, shall we jump on over to Who News?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Take it away, Anchor Bradley.
So there's not a lot of stuff that I've seen. The only thing I've seen this week that Doctor Who sort of spoke about, and I don't know if you've seen it just because you're not in the UK, but there's some sort of competition going on at the moment to
I have
win
entered
tickets
on
to
your
see the
behalf. You'll be
Christmas.
happy to know, boys.
Oh, have you? Because I was going to do that and I haven't done it yet. So thank
I
you
was
for that.
hoping none of you would know. I would win, and then I could go, Happy Christmas, boys. You're going
Oh,
to
is
the
this the
cinema to see
competition?
Doctor Who.
Is this the competition to watch it early?
And
Although
in
I
the
have just
cinema. I
realised
think they rent out a cinema for you and 30 people. Not that
we
we've
don't
got
have
30
30
friends.
friends.
Yeah.
Who are we going to invite to this?
It'd just be me and
we
Maybe
Brad
we
just
should do
oh,
sat
a
there, just
we'll
like,
do
maybe
a
we do a
fuck it,
listeners'
thing
cool.
to the
competition.
listeners.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be
There we
great.
go. There we go. There's a PR stunt if we win it.
You know what, right? I'm really, really upset. I was so happy this week because I clocked that. I was like, oh, yeah, this is it. Nobody else is going to see that. Both you fuckers have seen it.
And we were all hoping nobody else would have seen it. So
Have you
yeah, we
Yeah.
applied as
might
well
as
then,
well
Jack?
all enter.
Have
No,
you
I've
entered
I've
yet?
not applied. I've not applied now.
Oh,
Not yet.
okay.
I'll do it now.
Might as
But
well do it. Yeah. Brad, make sure you do it as well.
Yeah, well. But yeah, that
yeah,
was about it really. I don't think there's any other news going on at the moment.
well, I was gonna. Would you be happy to see a Christmas special? We've had this previous discussion where Christmas specials are special because you're sitting around with a family, it's Christmas Day, you're full
Yeah.
up of Christmas special. Would you be happy to see a Christmas special early? I mean, it's in the cinema, which is going to be really cool. Doctor in the cinema, that sounds quite cool. But then you're taking away that Christmas feel from it. Would you
Yeah,
do
I
it?
think I would, but I know what you mean. I agree with what you're saying. I do like sitting down on Christmas Day with the family and watching it. And it would probably feel a bit weird doing that and already have seen it. So yeah, I don't know.
I would in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. I think Christmas specials tend
I
to be
would do
pretty
it, yeah.
shitter anyway, so I'm not that fussed about
Yeah,
it.
the episodes themselves aren't that great usually, but it's just still a nice tradition, isn't it?
Also, like in a world where social media is so rife and people, give their reviews and shit on it straight away, it would be nice to get in early, wouldn't it?
Yeah, true. We could do like a spoiler-free review.
Spoiler-free review. There'll probably be a pressing, but we need to look into this. There is a way of actually doing this. I keep on meaning to do it. But yeah, there'll be like
All
a
right.
press embargo until a certain time. I'd love to be caught up in all of that. Like, how mad would that be?
Yeah, yeah, it would be good.
Anything else for Who News, lads?
No, that was it.
Nothing I've seen. What about you guys?
I do. So, Harry Potter series is coming out. Anybody seen
Yeah.
this?
Already?
Well, it's in production. So there's like Killian Murphy has
Who didn't
just
cast
been
anyone yet?
pushed for. Well, this is where I'm going, Bradley Fuller. They're suggesting Killian Murphy as Voldemort. I think that could
These are
be.
all just rumors, though. Nothing's confirmed.
Well, let me tell you one very interesting rumor. A Doctor Who actor has been rumored to be cast as a Harry Potter character. Any idea who fits what
What
role?
character?
No, no, guess.
Uh,
David Tennant as his character.
He's already been in Harry Potter.
Christopher
Oh,
Eccleston as Snape.
Oh, that would be good, you know.
Yeah, chuck a wig on him.
Matt Smith as Harry Potter.
Too old, man. They're booking an 11-year-old.
I don't know when it's set. When's it set?
What do you
Oh,
mean?
Peter Capaldi as Dumbledore, surely.
Peter Capaldi as Dumbledore.
Is it really? No, he's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, that's the big rumor
No,
going around at the moment.
that won't happen anyway. He's not a good enough actor to do that.
I'll get fucked. He's the perfect actor to go in a B-Tech Harry Potter version.
Oh dear.
How
Nah,
mad would
can't
that
do
be?
it.
Come on.
I don't think he fits that role.
I think he fits
No,
book
no, he is Scottish, and it
Dumbledore.
is. Isn't Hogwarts basically meant to be in Scotland or something?
Yeah, it's McDumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
I think that's pretty good. In the books, Dumbledore is a lot less cuddly than Michael Gambon's portrayal is. He's a bit more cantankerous and a bit more sort of abrasive. So I think that fits. I think that fits.
Fair play. We'll see.
I
We'll
have some
see. I mean, still
more
nothing
Peter
is
Capaldi
confirmed, and
news. Yeah,
nothing's going
nothing's
on with that.
nothing's confirmed.
Oh, this
But
isn't the fucking Peter Capaldi news show. This is
it's
Doctor
not
Who
my
news.
fault. He's the only one doing things at
Oh,
the moment.
sure, David Tennant's doing stuff.
Go on, what's he doing? What's the David Tennant
I
news
don't know.
then?
He's got podcasts. He's got shows
He
going
doesn't have a
on.
podcast. What are you talking
He
about?
he used to with Michael Sheen.
Actually, saying that, this is a bit upsetting. Fern Cotton, this is technically Who News as well. Fern Cotton
Bloody
does
Cotton.
she does a podcast called Happy Place, and David Tennant was on it this week.
Was he?
Yeah, they talked
Oh,
about
do you remember David Tennant
getting
did that
stage fright.
podcast? To be fair, I'm glad he didn't carry on with that.
What? But I don't remember a David Tennant podcast.
Yeah, yeah, he got like Jodie Whittaker on it. I think he had Whoopi Goldberg on it
Oh,
at one point.
vaguely, actually, yeah,
Remember?
vaguely, vaguely, vaguely. Oh, I've also seen
Olivia
him and
Colman.
Jodie Whittaker were doing autographs and stuff. I think did they have they got like a big finish or something coming out?
Don't know, have they?
Yeah,
Just looking here.
someone gave him
Yeah,
a
see,
photo of old young David Tennant to sign, and him and Jodie Whittaker look at it and start laughing. So they're doing something together at the moment.
All
yeah, so I'm
right.
looking through it. He's doing Macbeth at the
Oh
moment,
yeah, Macbeth he's doing.
and
He's always doing a Macbeth.
he has got an
I'd
80s
love to see that,
drama,
to be fair.
which is apparently a soapy shagger. But it's called Rivals. It's David Tennant's new 80s drama.
Well, that'll be why they talk about 80s nostalgia on Fern Cotton's podcast. So
Yeah,
there you go.
to reunite with Doctor Who star and Rivals, it was heaven.
There you go. And
Oh, man.
last bit of Peter Capaldi news in our Peter Capaldi news section. The trailer for the Stephen Moffat produced Peter Capaldi starring show Devil's Hour season 2 has just released. That comes out on the 18th of October. It's on Amazon Prime. I genuinely would recommend you watching it. It has a fucking mad twist at the end of season 1.
Interesting.
It's a bit slow.
Thanks for that.
He's a serial killer, but a good twist at the end. Recommend it.
Nice.
But I think that's about it, unless anybody's got anything else to ask.
No,
Nope.
that's it.
Right, let's crack on with what's going to be a mega review of a two-parter then. So
Ooh.
JP, you said you understood it more the second
Yeah.
time. What was perplexing you the first time round? We're doing
I
Time of the Angels and Flesh and Stone, by the way.
Couldn't have even told you the name of the titles, to be fair, until you just said them.
No, I took me. I had to think about it. It's only because I've got them written down.
So it goes right down from the start. I don't know if I wasn't watching it properly the first time I watched it, but it just at the start it didn't quite plug together that he was watching her on a security camera and all that stuff. But it was the thing at the end of Flesh and Stone with the giant crack with the Weeping Angels and the four soldiers that walk into
Yeah.
the crack. and then why they couldn't remember. And then it just clicked. They were saying about you get erased. That's why they didn't remember. It wasn't that she couldn't see that, because the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, maybe she still remembers because she's not looking at the crack. But it's not. It's because she's traveled through time, so she's like kind of immune to it. And the reason that
Yes.
the other soldier didn't remember is because they walked into the crack and they didn't get remembered, which kind of made me hate the end.
Made you hate the end.
Yeah, because now the Weeping Angels no longer exist. Nobody remembers them or anything.
That bunch of weeping angels.
I just thought it was Weeping Angels in general.
No, it's like there's more weeping angels out there. It's only the individual that gets sucked into the crack gets forgotten. So
Oh,
like,
okay. I
those
don't think it is
soldiers.
it? Because of the Dalek thing. She doesn't remember the Daleks.
No, you're remembering it slightly wrong.
Okay,
The
probably.
Tardis, the Daleks haven't been sucked into the crack.
But she doesn't remember them.
Yeah, but there's a different reason for that.
Oh, is there?
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
And but you're
got
so
that.
yeah, so it's like those soldiers went missing. That didn't mean the whole of the human race got erased. You know what I mean? It was that individual soldier went missing, or
Oh
got
yeah,
erased.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I think it's fine. It is a bit complex, and this first episode, this first part, fuck me, is it boring? Nothing happens in it.
Yeah, not a lot really. It's just a cliffhanger, isn't it? All
Just on a
waiting for
Yeah.
that.
cliffhanger. Okay, so we start off with Doctor and Amy running through the museum, and the Doctor says, "Oh, it's a way of keeping score," which I get is a funny line, but it also, what do you mean keeping score? You're not putting things in these museums. This isn't like, I didn't get it. Do you know what? Like, it's clever for the sake of being
Mm.
clever. Um, we got mention of not really an Easter egg, but a foreshadowing thing in that museum. Did you catch it, Brad?
I mean, yeah, I think I remember something coming up, but
The
was it relating to the
final
60th?
resting place of the headless monks.
Oh, yeah, there's that. Yeah. Isn't there also a mention of something that happens in the 60th at some point?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there is. I'll have to message you.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Um, and
While he's
then
messaging it, oh god,
yes, go on. No, no, go,
I
go,
was gonna
go.
say I did
50th or
actually
50th,
did.
I mean.
This is probably the first two episodes that I've actually found Matt Smith's Doctor quite funny.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but like there wasn't really a lot in this first episode, but like in the episode one of two. But when he's just going through the museum, just shouting wrong at just a bunch of artifacts. I don't know, it
Yeah.
just did make me kind of chuckle a little bit. Like I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of see it, but
I think he's definitely coming to his own,
boringness as well.
certainly by the next episode. How are you thinking? How are you feeling as him as a doctor?
I'm warming up to him. I'm still not 100% sold. He's very. It's kind of almost like the reasons I didn't like Donna. He's very chaotic, very loud, very, but he's growing on me. He is growing on me.
Oh, glad to hear. So they're in the museum. He finds the message written in Gallifreyan that says "Hello, sweetie." Everybody cheered because it's the return of River Song. Um, I think that intro with her on the ship is the cringiest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, God.
Jack, you're not wasn't convinced it was her, was you? You didn't recognize her.
No, I didn't recognize it. Well, in the trailer, I didn't recognize her.
What, did you
I'll
recognize
give
her
you
in
that.
this?
Yeah.
She does
Ah!
look different, kind of, but not for the reasons you said, Jack.
No, I genuinely, I thought when we watched in the, what's it called? Silence of the Library or whatever it is.
Yeah.
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 I genuinely thought she was black.
What?
I thought the
Yeah.
actress that was playing her was black. I don't know what it was. And then when I saw her in the trailer, Brad was like, "Oh yeah, you recognise that person?" I'm like, "No fucking clue, mate." Like, he's like, "Come on, you must recognise her." Rewinds it back, and I'm like, "No." And he goes, "It's River Song." I'm like, "Fuck off, she was black. What are you on
What are
about?"
you talking about?
Seriously, I swear down, I was convinced that she was playing like the actress was a black lady. Convinced of it.
Are you okay?
No, I don't know.
That's mental.
Must have
Genuinely,
been wearing
I'm
your
not.
sunglasses that day or
What did
something.
you watch it on?
I'm not sure if it was because of the helmet or like where it was just, but like I was just
Oh, it could have been
convinced
the
that
helmet.
But
Like
she's
I
not
was just,
wearing the helmet for the whole thing. Have you
I
only
know.
got a black and white telly? What's happening here?
Yeah, I don't know. No, it was, but I didn't recognize it in the trailer. But of course, now I know it's River Song, and we can all move on from my shit eyes. But
Jesus.
yeah, I need to go opticians, man. But that's by the point. Uh, yeah, no, it's yeah, it was a bit the whole gun thing where the gun shoots the door, and then it's a welding thing, and then I don't know.
Yeah, it's all a bit. Yeah, it's all like wannabe James Bond sort of nonsense. So she falls out of the spaceship into the TARDIS. Again, it's all a little bit cringy. They have their reunion. The Doctor is still quite hostile to River Song, which I think is a bit unfair given their last encounter. Don't you think?
Does he remember it though? Or sorry, does he remember it? That's very rude of me. Does he remember her?
Yeah, of course he does. This is the next time he meets her.
Yeah.
She doesn't know about it, obviously, though, so she doesn't know what she's done or going to do.
No, exactly. Like the whole. So I'd forgotten that. So it was nice that I think he calls her professor at one point, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to be a professor, am I?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, no,
Oh
you
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
had that experience yet, but the Doctor has."
Mm.
She then flies and lands the TARDIS without the noise, and Matt Smith does his impression of the TARDIS, and it is shit.
No, I thought it was
It's
quite good
funny, though.
actually. I thought it was
It's
quite good.
it's funny, but that's like, how can you're the Doctor? You know what the TARDIS sounds like better than anybody.
I thought it was pretty bang on.
He just does this weird. "Whoo, whoo." That's not what are
It
you
probably is a
doing?
bit hard to actually make the sound, though.
Yeah, got it. You
I
made the
if we
sound.
were
Well, yeah,
not
you
being
make it. You
recorded,
make it.
I've perfected my TARDIS making sounds in the last
Go on,
sort
then,
of
do it.
15 years. I'm not doing it whilst we're being
Do
recorded,
it.
but I can do
Why?
it.
Do it.
Matt
Nah, there's
Smith
too
has
much
to do
pressure
it.
now.
Do it.
There's
Millions
too
of
much
people watch
pressure.
him.
This is getting cut out.
Do
Um, they land. It's the crash of the Byzantium, which is obviously mentioned in Silence of the Library. Um, and the Doctor Sonic's River. She calls for backup, and we get religious plurgies. Um, what do we think of that not so subtle messaging?
Why were they in British Army Afghanistan camo? I didn't get that.
Because it's the most recognizable army costume at the time, presumably.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, no, it's just a bit weird that they were in desert camo. It's like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Why not?
You do you. Yeah, I don't know. I thought they probably got that's a great thing, but yeah, no. So they made America a religion now.
Boy, just Earth, I took that as.
Yeah, but America's all about guns now, isn't it? It's like in their constitution.
I think it's a religion. So it's like, you have American and British Christians. It doesn't matter. And I think the point is that it's not geographical anymore. Yeah. Let's not forget as well, the relocation of religious refugees is the cause of most wars. So I think it's a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Allegory, metaphor, symbolism. I like it. It's explored better in Boom, I think. But it's an interesting concept to drop here and then not really talk about again for a while.
Yeah, it was. The other thing is as well. Maybe actually that's why it's explains but the doctor actually saluted them.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I don't know. It's
He
quite,
won't salute unit, but he'll salute religious zealots. What do you think about the gun wielding priests, Brad?
I find it a bit weird, to be fair. I don't know. I just don't really. I don't know. I don't see the point in them. What's the point of them being? Oh, that's going to sound really weird.
Go on.
I was going to say, what's the point of them being religious?
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. No,
But what
it
does
could.
it bring to the story?
It doesn't add anything other than being, a comment on society, a comment on religion, how religion is weaponized, and it's
Yeah,
just
I guess
just
so.
messaging in your
Yeah.
thing. It's not really that important, but I do like it. So then they obviously they have their what feels like 4 hour fucking of screen time. There's a pod inside, but not quite inside the temple, and they watch the security recording of the angel when the doctor reads the book. And that is what I think is my biggest issue with this, is that they overcomplicate, as you said, Brad, everything to do with the weeping angels. Um,
Yeah.
the last time we saw them in Blink, there's four of them. They're on Earth. It's not a world-ending threat. They're just sending people back in time to feed on it, and they're just getting
Mm.
on with life, like animals do in the fucking world. Whereas now, one of them is on a planet, and that's enough to destroy the entire 8 billion people that are upstairs, or 6 billion human colonists, whatever they're called. Um, and I think that's the first thing that overcomplicates it. Then you've got the image of an angel is an angel. That's
I
fucking
did quite like that bit
stupid.
though. No,
But
I
it
quite like
doesn't
that
make
bit.
any sense.
Well, it kind of does because
I
they.
think I quite like
Oh,
the reveal of it. The fact when the doctor's like thinking through it and then he finally gets to it, he's like, that is the image of an angel becomes an angel. I think I quite like that.
yeah, because it's
Okay.
energy transfer. Like it makes sense. They've kind of like evolved. Because you think the last time we saw the angels was what would that have been?
Blink.
2008, maybe? Like
Yeah,
in
yeah, I think
Doctor
that's
Who
right.
time as well,
Seven.
2008
Yeah.
or 2000, yeah, 2007 would have been in Doctor Who time. Now we're however many thousands of years in the future, they've evolved.
Yeah, okay, I guess so. All right, all
So
right. So
like,
let's give them the image of an angel is an angel. What about don't look at them in the eyes?
yeah,
Yeah, I
that
don't
was a
get
bit
that
of a
bit.
weird one. Like, because that then discounts my thing about it's all, and I know that you get like tiny electrical things going through your brain and everything like that, but I just the whole point in the pod with the TV and the electrics and all that, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're manipulating energy, they manipulate lights, they, all that stuff. But then actually, one of them embedded in her brain was a bit weird.
Yeah, and they can manipulate that pod to the point where you can't even fucking, you know, what's that heat gun thing called?
No, that was just the material it was made out of.
No, I think that was they had done that to the ship, to the pod.
Oh, really? I read
Because
it just
like
that was
they
like an.
introduced the deadlock when there was no deadlock. She tries to cut her way in, but they can't. Yeah, I thought that was all part of the Angels.
The angel's doing
Oh,
that, I guess. Yeah.
I no, I thought the deadlock part and the all that the electrics part was the angel, but I thought it was the material the pod was made out of.
Okay, that's an interesting. No, because she says it's not even getting hot, so that it
Yeah,
has
as
to
in
be mystical.
yeah, but like if you think about it, like an aeroplane, for example. I know, I tell you, the best thing is you know what they make space shuttles out of when they're coming like in for re-entry. Have you ever seen like a video of the cubes of the material they're made out of?
No, I haven't, to be fair.
It is really cool. Like it absorbs, like, changes like material.
Okay, so it could be okay. Maybe it's something like that, but I still don't like it that you can't look them in the eyes. There's hundreds of them. That makes them instantly less interesting. They can talk over the radio by possessing the souls of the
Oh, I
people
did quite
who.
like Angel Bob, to be fair.
Ah,
Yeah. I,
That was
I
quite
I
funny.
I guess they needed to give them a voice. That was the only reason I could think of they went down that way. They needed them to, and I did. Part of me thinks it worked, part of me thinks it didn't.
but the fear factor comes from them not having like the mystery of it. Do you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
the final thing I've got as an issue is you can, and this is skipping ahead a bit, but you can trick them into thinking you can see. That's
Yeah, that was weird.
nonsense. Come on.
No, 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 no. Brett and I had this discussion the first time we watched this. The doctor says that they're scared of the crack, so they're not thinking about the crack. They're not thinking about aiming. They're just thinking about the crack. So they're not looking at someone's eyes. They're just like, oh shit, I've got to get out of it.
But I don't like they're. I didn't like it. I thought the point of them is that they could feel when they're being looked at, or it's an involuntary thing. Like they physically cannot move when they're being looked at. Do you know,
Yeah.
like it's a defense. It's not a choice. If they're looked at, they turn to stone. Because other like the angels, remember in Blink, they're defeated because they're constantly looking at each other.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that
Isn't
was
there
my.
also the point that the people who came before, I can't quite remember, again, it's confusing, but the people who came before the clerics were then the angels? Is that a thing? Well, I just made that up in my head.
Yeah, no, because they're supposed to have two heads. The
That's it.
the
Yeah.
race that was there before, but they've only got one head, so they're angels. But where did all of those
How do they
angels
become
come from?
angels?
Yeah, yeah. Again,
And
not
also, that then
100%
ruins
sure.
the fan theory that about the angels, which I don't like.
Well, at least it
Wouldn't
might not be a fan theory. It might actually be a spoiler.
well, it don't sound like it is at this point.
At this point, no.
I
It's
mean,
just
So it is or it isn't, like,
overcomplicated, is
know?
what we're trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, right. She gets out of. Oh, there's the whole winking instead of blinking thing is quite clever. I liked that, to be fair. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, so she escapes. They start walking through the catacombs, which is just the most ridiculous thing in the world. The most annoying thing about this first episode, they put their flashlights on. Every time the flashlight whizzed past the screen, it made a weird sort of whoosh, whoosh noise. Did anybody else pick up on that?
no, I can't say I did.
Took me right fucking out of it. I'll clip it and put it on the Instagram. But yeah, every time someone shines a torch through the camera, it's like they've got a lightsaber. It goes annoying. Um, when did you guys?
I think
Well, go on.
no. I was just going to say. I think I've actually thought of a way to defeat the angels.
Go on.
You know, in Pirates of the Caribbean, when Captain Jack closes his eyes and he's got eyes on his eyelids. Surely that would work.
Well, it would according to this.
Exactly. Just do
Um,
that and you're sorted.
right. When did you, both of you, to be fair, because Brad, presumably you'd forgot, pick up on the two heads thing?
I'm not until they said it. I didn't realize I forgot.
JP?
Yeah. To be honest, the first time didn't clock it at all. The second time when I rewatched it was taking notes. You actually hear him say
Yeah.
about there's a couple of lines before, and it is quite clever, I will say. There's a couple of lines before where where's my notes? She says, yeah, she says the meta man with two heads better than one, and then Amy says, no, he says something about laws against self marrying. And then
Yes.
Amy
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be a messy do." And I was listening back like as the second time, I was like, "Oh, that's quite clever, actually. Yeah, I get that." And then they literally put them in a room with loads of single head statues, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's quite clever."
Yeah. Quite a Sherlocky sort of way of doing it. Um, they then get completely surrounded by these statues. And there is no way, if you're completely surrounded, that you can look at every single statue in there. This is what I mean. There's too many, and it takes the
Yeah, I'd
mystery
agree
out
with
of it
that.
and the thing out of it. Also, Amy turning into an angel with her stupid stone hand that's not stone hand. Bullshit. Nonsense. Hate it.
Didn't get
Don't
that
like
bit either.
it.
That was
That's a bit
confusing.
odd. The only thing I
Yeah.
could get was that because the angel's in her brain, it's making her think that she's a weeping angel.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I could kind of get that, and that's why the doctor's like, "No, you just got to like," and that's why he bites her because then it goes to that kind of it's her again, like it's her
But
nerve
why did he
feeling
even need to bite her? All he had to do was grab her hand and pull her up.
because he bit her, I guess. I don't
I
know.
guess it's funny. It's quirky, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know. Silly.
it was quite funny though.
Sorry.
she gets her hand bitten. She's now not an angel for the time being. They run up to the top of the cliff face, surrounded by angels. What are they going to do? Oh my god! Doctor grabs the gun. What do we think of the cliffhanger, guys?
I was quite gassed. Imagine he just put the gun to his temple and just blew his brains out.
Fuck this! I'm out.
Yeah.
Good luck, lads.
Bradley, do you remember the controversy regarding this cliffhanger?
No, not at all. What was the controversy?
So it's Saturday night. This is obviously playing out as we saw it on the iPlayer. And then
Yeah.
as the doctor is doing his big speech about you can never put me in a trap, blah, 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 a banner came up across the screen advertising the Graham Norton show for that night with Graham Norton doing voiceover saying, and tune in tonight to have blah, blah, watch blah, blah, blah on the show and everything. So it like wiped
Really?
out the last 30 seconds of it. I think you can still find it on YouTube. Yeah. But they received
Oh, that's
loads of
interesting.
Ofcom complaints and everything, and it ruined it. And
Oh, what do you put? Who puts an Ofcom complaint in for that? For God's sake!
I
I
don't know
would. I'd be
specifically
fuming.
Ofcom complaints, but definitely BBC received complaints because of it, which I just think
That's
is quite
quite
funny.
interesting.
Takes the wind out of your sails a little bit, doesn't it? My next two notes are one, the artificial gravity idea is actually quite clever. I like
Yep.
that if you jump and time it right, it would draw you to the ship. I thought that was pretty good. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I also really, really love the countdown. When did you boys pick up on the countdown?
Oh, straight away, to be fair. I
Yeah,
Did
straight
you?
away.
think I
Yeah.
remembered that one. Yeah.
Like straight away, as soon as she said 10, you were like, oh my gosh, she's going to start counting down.
Yeah, because then she said 9, and I was like,
Probably
oh,
10,
okay, yeah.
9, yeah.
Yeah.
Clever though. Again, quite Sherlocky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it's a bit shit, lucky.
the whole bit with that corridor bit, like kind of where he jumps down and then just he's like kind of glued to the side of it. I was like, actually, that's quite cool. Like, it's quite a
Yeah.
bit of a mind fuck,
Yeah.
really, because you sit there, you're like, yeah, I guess you'd do
Oh
that. But
yeah, I know, like with the gravity messing around bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
Um,
quite like that.
it is wild, and I've only just thought of this, how many sets there are in this episode or in these two parts. You've got the beach, you've got inside the main cave, inside the catacombs, inside the spaceship now. We're about to go inside the forest. In
Mhm.
like this is a
Is
big
that many? That's
two-parter.
like a handful.
I think it's more than you'd get. Like if it's more set pieces than you'd get in a normal episode, I think.
Yeah, there's less filming
Yeah,
locations,
maybe.
more set locations.
Like if you think about
Yeah.
next week's episode, it's just scenes in Venice. There's not like a memorable bit. Okay, you've got the throne room, but other than that, it's just little bits and bobs around Venice. Whereas this feels like chapters to a book almost, I suppose you'd sort of call it. Um, I like the idea that the forest is an oxygen factory for a ship. I think that's very clever.
He is clever. Yeah, I like that. I thought it was quite good. The only thing that kind of ruined it was then they were like, oh, yes, we actually use computers to make trees. And I'm like,
Yes, agreed. When they pull open the roots and it's a fucking, there was no need for
yeah,
that.
stuff as trees, man.
Yeah, just have them as trees. It does feel like a totally different episode when they're in that forest, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know, like because you get the bit before with the chair, like oh, I made it. He just suddenly just I don't know, felt a little bit more quick, like quicker paced, and
Yeah.
there was a bit more story to it. Like even in the bit where they sit just before they go into the forest, and you got Angel Bob that's explaining, and he's like, right, what have you done to Amy? What you just suddenly it was just in that first 5 minutes of the second episode, it felt like you got more backstory
Than
than
the
the entire
entire
first
first
episode.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was really
exactly.
weird.
I'm with you 100%. Yeah, it really picks up in this part too. Um, so let's talk about Amy then. Closing your eyes. He says, close your eyes because that's the equivalent of shutting off a screen so you can't see the angel in your head. Is it just me? But when I close my eyes, like my inside visual works better, not worse, right? I can imagine. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
You kind of almost try and visualize the room, or you see, yeah, you try, your
Yeah, it's
brain
still
tries
not
to make
real, isn't
sense.
it? It's in your brain.
But yeah, because your eyes in theory are the input. So if you shut your eyelids, there is no actual input. The only thing that's being inputted is already inside your brain.
Right. Okay. That's so she's not downloading the angel anymore. Then, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, exactly. The angel's just
Okay.
it's just going over and over in a loop.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that. This leads on, and I've mentioned it a few times now, to the Easter egg of this series that my mum ruined for me. Did
Oh, yeah.
either of you pick it up?
What with the cracks, by any chance, is it?
Well, there's one less than that.
Um, well, the only other
Can't
thing's
remember.
about the Dalek, really. That's the only thing I can think. Oh, and they got the Pandorica or something like that. That she
Yeah,
says
so
right
we
at the
get a
end.
few mentions throughout. We get River in jail. Who did she kill? The headless monks, the Pandorica. But, and listen, I'm not spoiling anything here, so I'm going to explain it. When the Doctor and River leave Amy in the forest because she's going to slow them down, the Doctor's just lost his jacket because the Weeping Angel is holding on to it. He then runs back just to tell her something very quickly, and he's got his jacket on. And then it cuts back to the Doctor and River, and his jacket is off again. And my mum ruined that surprise for me and what it means in the future. Um, I won't say any more than that until we get to the finale, but we come back to this moment for some reason.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I fucking
Yeah,
love that.
I thought it was quite sweet though. Like that whole thing where he's just like trying to comfort her because they go from the bit and it was quite. It's still part of the reason I do like Matt Smith as the Doctor, and I don't like Matt Smith as the Doctor because like the bit where she's dying, and he's just like, "Oh my God, she's dying," and like River looks at him like, "No, don't say that," and he's like, "What do I achieve by telling her, oh, it's gonna, you're not dying, you don't achieve anything, right?" And I do get that, but you know,
He's almost a bit
very
autistic.
yeah, kind
Yeah.
of no filter like between brain and mouth. It's just he says what he thinks, really,
Yeah.
which. It goes on to my point, which I'm like, I put a note down that he's the first Doctor to fully explain his plan out loud, just what he thinks he says.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, so he's walking through the whole process. He's like, he says like, "Oh, how would you stop breathing? Oh, you just and how would you?" And he just runs through the whole process just out loud.
I suppose, yeah. Did we not see that with Tennant?
Tenet was more kind of like I'm doing this, doing that, and then kind of like. Whereas Matt Smith, and like it goes to the point of where he's just like, I'm going to do a thing, and like Rivers like, what thing? And he's like, I don't know, I've not finished talking yet.
Yeah, it's Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? It's him. What does he call it? He's deducing.
Yeah, yeah, which I do like. I've got to say, there's some parts I didn't like, but there are other parts where he's deducing that I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah. No, it kind of works. It kind of works. Do you like the deducing thing, Brad?
To be honest, mate, I can't remember it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we obviously have the return of the crack. The two we've sort of touched on it. Two people. If you go into the crack, you're erased from time. Do you think we'll be seeing
Bad.
that again, JP?
Well, I'm assuming so because the doctor said bad, very bad.
It would be
I mean, it
mad if
literally
that
appeared
was
in
just a
every
dropped.
episode.
Yeah, if that was
Yeah,
just a dropped plot point now, that would be pretty mad. Um,
yeah.
I had totally forgot we actually see the angels move in this. And
Oh, that was quite
Yeah.
creepy.
yeah, I didn't hate it at all,
I've got to say, there's the angels in the first episode were kind of a bit shit,
Yeah,
really. And
agreed.
I know the whole point is they're ingesting energy from the ship, so they are getting stronger and more powerful and everything. So they are going to be a bit more aggressive, I think is
Mobile.
the term. But like the whole bit with the corridor thing as well, where they're shooting down the corridor to light up the
Yeah,
corridor and they're just coming down. I'm like, that's quite cool. And then you got the bit where they're just kind of like, they're turning the wheels and
that's
then they're
proper
there
horror
just,
film, that is, yeah.
yeah. And then they're just there in the room with the doctor. And then like you've got the bit where he grabs Father Octavian, was it? Octavius?
Oh, yeah, breaks his neck, brutal.
Like, oh, the neck breaking as well. That is a hell of a fucking sound. I'd love to know where the BBC got that from.
Yeah, no, they definitely amp it up a bit, thank the Lord, in this episode. Um, but the finale for me, with the gravity just failing at the perfect time and all the angels being sucked away, it's all just a bit too convenient, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's kind of like oh fuck, what was the season 2 finale called?
Oh yeah, Doomsday
That's it, Doomsday,
getting
where
sucked into
they're
the
hanging on.
void.
Yeah, they're hanging on vertically, and it's like, oh no, hang on, like what
Did
I'd
you not
love
think
to
there was a
know.
lot of callbacks as well on this? That was one we mentioned while we watched it, but I felt like this episode gave very like similar vibes to the library episode in terms of like the trees and stuff and the angels talking through like the consciousness. That same
Yeah,
thing
Okay.
happened after people died in the library episode. I felt it's just
Not
very
wrong.
copy and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
paste,
yeah, I get that.
you
Yeah,
know? And that was Moffat as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Listen, if we're talking copy
Yeah.
and paste, I've got a whole note section for next week's episode. But
Really?
I do totally hear what you're saying now that you've pointed it out. They are two quite similar things. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, they fall into the crack. These angels are erased from time. And happy endings on the beach. Rivers killed a man. Do you think that's going to be important, JP?
what I think's really important is we were left with them hanging above quite a severe drop, and then they're just on the beach. It's like, how did they get out of there?
Probably very awkwardly and over a lot of time. You don't need to see
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
not
I don't know.
important.
I don't know. Kind of took my emotion away there, did. I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. Don't fucking, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm sure we'll find out. But obviously, who did she kill? How did she get caught? All that stuff. And what's interesting as well, and what I do like about her character, is she's not like that prick from the fucking Easter special, old Claudia, whatever her tits was. Where she's like, "Oh, doctor, let me go, let me go. Like, I want to, be a criminal on the run forever." Like River's just like, "Yeah, I'd like if I get my pardon, I get my pardon. If not, I'll do something else."
That was an odd way to throw shade on a person, but fair enough. I get what
Yeah,
you mean.
but like,
Uh,
it's a kind of, it's a testament
she's
to River's
accepted
character.
her
Like,
fate, yeah, I suppose.
yeah, she's like there. She's like, right, how do I make it right? Rather than trying to run away from it, she wants to make amends, which I feel like it's a bit obvious, but I feel like it could be the doctor. I say the doctor that she kills, but causes a regeneration or something. I don't know, but like it
Uh,
feels a bit obvious though. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like a
No,
red herring.
I like it when you theorize. 19-year age gap between Matt Smith and River Song is all. I'm just going to throw that out there. Um,
Oh,
and then the real ending of this episode is
Oh my god.
Amy seducing the doctor.
Oh my god.
oh yeah, I
So
forgot
good.
about that bit.
I had to watch it twice.
You're a fucking weird man.
Dude, like literally, I could not. My poor tiny little brain couldn't fucking compute what I was seeing on the screen.
It is the shortest skirt in the world, isn't it?
Like, if I was a kid watching this, that probably Karen Gillan probably would have been my first TV crush.
I think it was definitely. I don't remember ever really fancying Amy Pond though. Did you, Brad?
Oh, you must do, surely.
Like, not
You,
like,
you
but my
fancied Rose,
go-to would
surely,
still
didn't
be
you?
Rose.
Ooh,
I don't know. Rose is very shabby.
If Rose and Amy were in a room, I Rose
Maybe.
all day, every day.
Maybe.
No way.
I got some with Brad.
Yeah.
Wow, this is mental. This is going to
Yeah.
be a poll on the Insta. Very good. So yeah, so then that leads us into the next time trailer because, by the way, Stephen Moffat regrets this ending as like this is his biggest regret out of his whole time as Doctor Who. He doesn't think he should have let the companion kiss the Doctor like that. But then that leads us
Really?
into the next time trailer, which is the Doctor takes Rory and Amy on a date because he feels bad. What did you think, Jack? Vampires in Venice?
Well, I put next time three words: Venice, vampires, and vixens.
What's
Because
Vixen?
like women. I, I
Oh,
I was
okay.
trying to be clever and have three V words. Venice, vampires, and I was sitting there. I was like, what? The vixens. There you go. Yeah,
Excited?
yeah. It looks interesting. I mean, the vampires are pretty good.
Yeah, vampires are pretty good. Brad, do you remember much
Because
about the vampire episode?
I'm going to say it looks like it has a lot of potential, but having already seen it, it doesn't live up.
Fair enough. That is next week. This is now. Shall we do love it or hate it?
I think we should. Brad, God, you start.
Tough one, this one, to be fair. I'm sort of edging in the middle, but as an overall two-parter, I probably would just about edge to love it. But it is still overly complex and a weaker Angel story than the first.
Fair enough. Jack Phillips.
Yeah, it's going to be a love it for me. I do think it was slow to begin with. I do agree with what you're saying. There's too many angels. There was a lot of kind of like things that happened to further the plot along or
Yeah.
stop the plot. But I've got to say the second episode brings it back to me. The corridor scene, the shooting corridor scene, the one-liners, the whole bit in the forest where they're getting closer and closer, and
Yeah. Yeah.
the bit with the end where they're just like, where she has to like stumble through them and they start looking at her like it. Yeah, it's love it for me. But what about you, Josh?
It's barely a love it for me. Like you said, pretty much just because of that second episode. It is nowhere near as good as it should be. It's passable. But I think that's all for now. Thank you everybody for
Do we?
listening, as always.
No,
Oh, what?
I was just going to add on the end. Do you actually think there's a weaker two-parter than this?
What,
This
out
could
of
be
the
the
whole
weakest.
of Doctor Who?
What we've watched so far.
What we've watched so far?
I
I have
think
to
this is the
fucking,
weakest two-parter.
I have to go
Ever.
back now.
Cannot be ever. I'm gonna pull up
Of
the
the first
episodes
four
list.
series, yes.
So we've got the Slovene two-parter. That's worse. Oh, I don't know that it
Yeah,
is.
okay, maybe I forgot about that one, but
I don't
I'd
mind
rather
the
rewatch
Slovene one.
that.
Yeah, I agree with you. The
What one?
Gas Mask Children one.
Great two-parter.
It's not a great two-parter. The
It's a great
Cybermen
two-parter.
two-parter is worse than this.
No, I disagree. I'd still prefer to watch that.
No, the Cybermen
That
two-parter
was the
is
parallel
worse.
world one.
The Ood ones, that's
Great
better.
episodes.
Yeah, that's much better. The Dalek one in See It with Donna. That's with Martha. Sorry, that's worse
Martha.
than this.
I still probably disagree. I
No,
don't know. Let's close that one.
The Human Nature and Family of Blood. That is the
Great
best
episodes.
two-parter ever. Yeah. Um, the Sontaran ones. That's worse than this.
No, I disagree. I think that's fair.
And then Silence in the Library, and then the finale. Yeah, I think
Great
the
episodes.
Silent
It's
Man
down there.
two-parter, the Dalek one, and the last one I just said, all worse than this.
Definitely down there.
Sontarans.
Weak.
Um, right. Thanks for listening. See you next time, guys.
Adios,
Bye.
amigos.